and criticism of the governor's school voucher plan.
Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely. No, I don't think it's fair.
Who critics say the program leaves behind.
A Nashville musician robbed inside a grocery store. The steps he's taking to protect himself.
And using private companies to end Nashville's rape kit backlog. Why not everyone is on board? Fox 17 News starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
This is a thing that ultimately would see its way, in my opinion, to the Supreme Court.
But I don't want them getting the extra benefits and such that are due our tax-paying Tennesseans.
We begin tonight with crisis in the classroom and the latest push by state Republican leaders to pass a school voucher bill. This plan would give thousands of Tennessee families state money they could use to send their children to private schools.
But not all public school children would qualify. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller with what the bill would mean for migrant children.
Some educators say that they're concerned that immigrant children who are here illegally are not eligible for the school voucher program. But some Republican state leaders that we spoke with say that this is the case because these children are already eligible for public education, but that they should not be eligible for school vouchers. Take a look at the school voucher bill. The denial of scholarship application section is the one raising some concerns. It says the department shall deny the scholarship application of an eligible student who cannot establish the eligible student's lawful presence in the United States. Republican Senator Mark Pody supports this because he says illegal immigrants should not receive the added benefits and scholarships that tax-paying citizens should receive, since illegal immigrants already have the right to public education in the United States. But J.C. Bowman with the Professional Educators of Tennessee argues that this section is unconstitutional because he explains Plyer versus DOE is a protection for undocumented children to access education.
So if it's a voucher bill as well as with public monies, you're excluding a group of people that I think is going to come back and actually be found unconstitutional. So I think that's going to be a point of contention. The law is pretty clear on this, Plyer versus DOE.
If you're here illegally, then we're still giving you a free public education. But I don't want people that are here that have broken the law or got here in an illegal manner to be in any way getting extra benefits and taking it away from our hardworking Tennessee students.
Both the Senate and House versions of the bill include this denial of scholarship application. Governor Bill Lee pushed hard for school vouchers last session, and since this is his last term as governor, Republicans believe that he will fight hard for it to pass this session. Reporting from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage of Tennessee's school voucher bill, critics say it will not meet the needs of special education students. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar digging into that debate.
Opponents say there isn't enough funding in private schools to meet the needs of children with disabilities versus special needs programs in public schools. However, supporters of vouchers argue let families choose what type of schools better suits their children's needs. School choice is top of mind for Tennessee Republicans, offering 20,000 students around $7,000 to give them the option to go to private schools. But where does this leave students with special needs? Former special education teacher J.C. Bowman says it excludes them.
The $7,000 voucher really will not meet the needs of most special education children.
Education experts say private schools don't get as much state money as public schools to meet the needs of students with disabilities, which Bowman says forces parents to send their kids to public school. Private schools aren't under an obligation to spend money set aside for special needs programs.
The governor talks about we want every parent to have a choice. Well, I don't see the choice for a special needs child.
We turn to Brian Klontz, a parent with a special needs child who went to a private school for his perspective.
I don't want to be told this is what's best for my kid. I want to choose what's best for my children.
I did these back in art
class. His son has autism, so he tells me he did online classes, but according to this bill, his son wouldn't have been eligible since it excludes those who are homeschooled.
Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely. No, I don't think it's fair. But on the flip side, it's our money. It's our tax dollars. We should be able to decide what's best for our children.
Clance and Bowman tell me that the bill needs to be fine-tuned before they can sign off on it. Reporting in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Now, continuing our coverage now, as some public school parents are already lining up against this new voucher bill. Dozens of members of a group called Public School Strong gathered today on the steps of the state capitol downtown. They believe the governor's voucher program prioritizes private interests over the needs of public schools. They would prefer to see the money the state wants to set aside for these vouchers to be used to rebuild run-down public school buildings, hire more teachers' aides, and address the shortage of K through 12 teachers.
Well, we want to know what you think. Do you support the governor's school voucher plan, which gives public funds for private school education? This poll is live right now. So far, we've had almost 370 people weigh in, and 57.5% of respondents say yes, 42.5% say no. This poll live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page. You can also find it by our handle, which is at Fox Nashville. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
He pointed a gun at me through the hoodie, and he said, "I need cash."
In Operation Crime and Justice, this Nashville musician says he was robbed at gunpoint inside an East Nashville grocery store. And now he's taking action proactively to protect himself, and he's urging others to do the same. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker tonight has more on what happened to him and this man's message.
Touring country rock artist Jay Allen spends his days in studio and nights on the road. He's a tough guy who doesn't scare easy.
I'm a muscular guy, I have tattoos. I've always, kind of had this naive thought process of that's not going to happen to me. No one's going to screw with me, and then it did.
For Allen, it took seconds to change his life's perspective. It's when he says he was robbed at gunpoint inside an East Nashville grocery store chain.
He pointed a gun at me through the hoodie, and he said, "I need cash." And I said, "I don't have any cash." And I thought, I was so shocked, I laughed. I was like, this is a joke. This isn't really happening. He said, "That's fine. You can Venmo me."
Allen says he sent the man $100 and immediately ran out of the store.
My first phone call was my best friend. He's a Marine. And he goes, "It's time for you to protect yourself." I think I just felt let down, that I knew that I felt taken advantage of, and I felt helpless.
Allen says the next day he tried to lose that letdown feeling by going straight to the shooting range and purchasing a gun for protection moving forward. He's fell victim to crime in the past when all his music equipment was stolen out of his trailer from his front yard.
Now I live in a big city, and it's growing very quickly, and you just never know what's going to happen. So I think it's important to not live in fear, but always be aware.
Metro Police crime data shows robberies in East Nashville have spiked 100% in recent weeks. But if you compare this year to the year prior, robberies are down roughly 17%, from 125 to 104.
Yeah, I love the sparkle in the paint.
Either way, Allen felt victimized and hopes his story can help others avoid becoming a statistic.
Going to a store, all you see is black.
Reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
New tonight, the Justice Department announcing charges against 3 people in a thwarted Iranian plot to kill President-elect Trump. Organizers wanted to carry out the plot before Election Day. Prosecutors say Iranian leaders asked suspect Faraj Shakiri to focus on surveilling and assassinating Mr. Trump. Shakiri is now back in Iran. 2 other people charged are American citizens arrested in New York. Investigators believe this is in retaliation for a 2020 drone strike Mr. Trump ordered that killed a top Iranian general.
All right, let's talk about our Code Red weather. Fortunately, nothing ugly out there, and quite frankly, a pretty nice night to be out and about.
Yeah, really nice night. We'll look at that Broadway camera here in just a second. A lot of folks taking advantage of this nice, calm weather. And it's not cold. It's a little cool, we'll say. Seeing a lot of people, short sleeves, sleeveless shirts, things like that. But overall, not too bad of weather. If you have any plans for whatever reason at this time of night, 11:38 the current time. Right here in Nashville, we are at 54 degrees. We still have some clouds sticking around with us. No rain, though. Temperatures for everybody else, lower 50s to the mid 50s, depending on where you're at. Down further south, we're seeing more more of those mid-50s. 55 Murfreesboro, same with Lewisburg, Tullahoma. A little further north, lower 50s in Gallatin, 53 right there. Cookeville, 51, 50 right there in Clarksville. Light winds too, around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But this is going to be the main story for us. This is well back to the west of us, Colorado. A lot of snow going on in those areas right now. Seeing some showers and some thunderstorms that are still lined up around parts of Oklahoma into Texas. That's moving off into parts of Arkansas. Even in North Mississippi right now, we're going to start to see some of this rain. All that will still head our way as we head through the rest of the night. And then by late tomorrow morning, I think we'll start to see a better chance for a few showers moving into our area. I'll have more on that here in a little bit too, though. Right now, the winds, really no issue with these. Most of these are light, 5 to 10 miles for some areas even a little bit lower than that. 3-mile-an-hour winds right now in Murfreesboro, 3 in Dickson. Same goes for Linden. So very calm and quiet conditions for us for tonight. The good news as this round of rain moves through, disregard that right there. That game's already over with. But as the rain moves through, as we head through the rest of the night tonight or tomorrow morning, I think we are going to see a dry start to the morning. But then by the later part of the morning, we'll start to see that rain chance increase. No severe weather expected. I'll have a look at the timing coming up for you here in just a little bit.
The Fed just made another rate cut. I'm Jeff Harris in Washington. Coming up, what it means for your wallet and the likelihood more could be on the way.
And battling cancer could come down to your race. We'll tell you who is more at risk and why.
In health news, Black and Hispanic people are more likely to die of cancer than most racial and ethnic groups, and now we may know why. A new report suggests a possible advanced cancer culprit.
In the U.S., African Americans and those who are Hispanic are more likely to be diagnosed with an advanced stage of cancer, and at that point, it's more difficult to treat and oftentimes incurable.
We wondered, how much of this was biology and how much was this sort of a modifiable social determinant of health.
That's why researchers with the American Cancer Society analyzed data from nearly 2 million cancer patients between the ages of 18 and 64 and had one of 10 major cancers between 2013 and 2019. They found that a large reason for racial and ethnic disparities in advanced cancer risk is lack of health insurance coverage.
One can imagine a situation where one does not have health insurance, that one ignores symptoms earlier on, and someone doesn't go on for the routine screening tests.
Researchers say health insurance coverage is key to having access to high-quality health care, which can lead to disease prevention and early detection.
Ensuring that folks all have access to coverage, to care, I think is really important to reduce deaths and suffering from cancer.
The organization says separate data also highlights disparities in breast cancer, with Black women being less likely to be diagnosed with the disease than white women, but 41% more likely to die from it.
So I think step one is finding the cancer earlier on, and step two is ensuring that we have treatment that's equal for folks, regardless of who they are.
In the economy tonight, the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates again, this time by a quarter point. Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris examines whether the presidential election played a role in that decision and what could be on the horizon.
The cut made on Thursday was a quarter basis point, what was expected. Now, as for what that cut means for our wallets, I'm told it could help mortgage rates and savings accounts. Jared Pinson, an assistant professor of economics, tells us the biggest impact from today's rate cut is on loans.
The lower the federal funds rate is and the other interest rates that the central bank influences or control, the lower you'll see interest rates on borrowing.
But aside from loans, Pinson also says today's rate cut will impact savings accounts.
Not just on what you would spend on, but also on what you would save on.
As for whether or not the results from this week's presidential election played a factor in the rate cut, Pinson says no.
The presidential election and what the incoming Trump administration is at least planning hasn't affected how they are thinking about their monetary policy.
One thing reportedly being planned is possible tariff increases, something Tom Smith, a finance expert, tells us could impact rates if put in place.
You're definitely going to get a situation where you could have upward pressure on prices, which then might force the Fed to increase target rates again.
But Smith says in order to get a clearer picture of what lies ahead, we'll have to wait and see which policies the new administration puts in place.
We just have to be aware of how these policies unroll and what their potential impacts are.
According to the Federal Open Market Committee, by the end of this year, interest rates will fall another quarter basis point and a full percentage point next year as well. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
All right, Brett, heading into the weekend, chance of rain.
We are looking at another chance of rain, and then we're going to dry out pretty quickly once we get past this weekend. But there will be the chance for some showers and thunderstorms for us as we head through the weekend. The good news, though, no severe weather. It doesn't look like that we're going to have to deal with. I want to show you this again right here. This is that live look over Broadway. Just a lot of folks out there on Broadway on this Friday night. A really good night if you have any outdoor plans tonight. Just very calm weather, and that's going to be the story for us as we head through the overnight hours. That's going to change, though, once we head on into tomorrow afternoon. But you can just see all the folks out there on a Broadway right now. Current temperatures here in Nashville, we are in the I'm having some issues with my graphics right now. They are not wanting to move for me. But we'll go ahead and try to get this worked out, but I cannot even get these graphics to move. I will say, though, that there will be that rain chance as we head on into tomorrow. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be likely for us once we go through Saturday on into Sunday as well. Like we were just talking, though, no severe weather as we head on into the weekend. So that is at least some good news right there. But we're going to come back to weather here in just a bit once we can get this straightened out.
There's not much a president can do without Congress, so what will the next one look like for President-elect Trump? I'm Atrell Nashar in Capitol Hill with a closer look coming up.
Tennessee Titans headed to the West Coast this weekend to take on the Chargers. We're going to see whether or not they can pick up a big win as quarterback Will Levis and his status remains up in the air. We've got a full breakdown coming up Monday on Fox 17 News this morning.
Well, we are back in business now. That other clicker had run out of battery. This one's got a good set of batteries in it, though, so we'll be able to roll right through this. But this is what we're going to be watching. Some showers and thunderstorms back out to the west of here, moving through parts of Oklahoma and Texas. All that activity will keep on heading to the east, and that'll give us that rain chance as we head through the rest, or as we head on into tomorrow. That'll stick around with us throughout the day tomorrow and then even into Sunday as well. Notice back here, though, behind this low pressure system, parts of Colorado just getting blanketed with snow right now. I think we're going to have a camera and show you that a little bit later on tonight. But here's what we're looking at as we head through the overnight hours, and shouldn't see any rain right here, but by the time we hit late tomorrow morning, I think we'll start to see more of this rain begin to build in, and this rain's going to stick around with us as we head through the rest of the afternoon hours and through the evening hours too. Overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll still see some of those showers, and then that cold front's going to try to move through Sunday by noon. I think the best chance is going to be up here near the Tennessee River. We could still see a few scattered showers out here ahead of that. No severe weather, though, as this line moves through. It looks like all these showers and thunderstorms should stay below that severe criteria. 5 p.m. still just some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms lined up across Middle Tennessee. And then we're drying out for the later part of Monday. We could see a few just showers remaining right here along the plateau early Monday morning. Behind that, though, much better weather if you don't like it wet. So we're going to stay dry Monday and Tuesday. And then as we head on into Wednesday, we could see just another chance for a few scattered showers, not expecting anything too much then either. This is going to be some beneficial rainfall for us. Areas along and west of Interstate 65, 2 to 3 inches maybe. And now this updated model run is actually increasing the rainfall totals over here in some of our eastern areas. This is going to be good news for that drought situation. We'll also take a look at that coming up. I'll show you that 7-day forecast too here in just a little bit.
Well, thank you. In politics tonight, it has been 3 days now since the election, and we still don't know which party will have control of the House of Representatives.
Fox 17 News' Atrell Nashar explains where we are and what could be in store for the next Congress.
From the White House to Capitol Hill, Republicans will have the upper hand in the federal government starting in 2025.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Republicans taking back the majority in the Senate after flipping seats in Ohio, Montana, and West Virginia.
The Senate will come to order.
They'll have at least a 3-seat majority compared to current Senate Democrats' 1-seat majority.
I think we did pretty well with narrow majorities during the previous administration. 3 new Supreme Court justices, 54 new circuit judges.
Soon, Senate Republicans will have to choose their new leader as current Minority Leader Mitch McConnell steps down from his leadership position.
Over in the House, there will likely either be a Speaker Mike Johnson or a Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. 218 seats are needed for a House majority, and we may not learn which party crosses that threshold until next week.
Both sides believe that whatever happens with the majority in the next Congress, that Democrats will be no shorter than 212 to 214 votes, and we still have a clear pathway to taking back the majority.
President Trump wants to be aggressive. He wants to go big, and we're excited about that. We're going to get to play offense because I'm absolutely convinced we're going to have the White House, the Senate, and the House. I think we will deliver that majority.
Republicans are bullish on their ability to immediately tackle issues they believe got them elected, like immigration and the economy. But in the Senate, Republicans will not have a big enough majority to do most things without Democratic support, so they'll be forced to compromise. And if Democrats take the House, Trump's agenda will face even bigger barriers. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrell Nishar reporting.
A backlog processing rape kits in Nashville. What leaders are doing to solve this serious problem.
And new sources of information, the changing face of the media. Doing coverage now on the Metro Council's decision to sign off on a plan that would outsource rape kits from the Metro Police Crime Lab so they can erase a big backlog. As Fox 17 News' Johnny Mathey shows us, this is welcome news for the survivors of sexual assault.
A big part of the council discussion is that there are more than 700 cases in the backlog for the forensic biology unit with Metro Police that has just 13 staff members, but with this resolution passing, things can now speed up. A private vendor was approved thanks to $240,000 grant dollars from the U.S. Department of Justice. Some are concerned about the test kits leaving Metro facilities, but counselors said that this will go to an approved lab. Other counselors wanted to defer the vote due to Director of Community Oversight Jill Fitchard having a couple questions, but that did not go over well with others.
Over 700 cases. 700 cases. Families that are looking for closure. Offenders that could be sexually assaulting other people out there. And we're looking to defer it? Come on, y'all. Come on.
Again, the resolution passed and this funding is approved through September 2026. In Nashville, Johnny Mathey, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage of the push to end the rape kit backlog in Nashville. Today, Mayor Freddie O'Connell addressed staff shortages at the police crime lab. The mayor says that Metro Police are making progress to increase staffing. He says $240,000 in federal grant money will allow the city to hire a private lab to process these hundreds of samples a lot faster.
We see this outsourcing effort as supplementary to the catch-up work we've been doing, and it's very victim-focused, and so we're glad to see it move forward.
To see all of our coverage of rape kit backlogs in Tennessee and across the country, go to our Fox Nashville YouTube page.
It is your money, and the state of Tennessee is on pace to collect a record amount of revenue from legal sports gambling this year. Our partners at OpenTheBooks.com looked at state collection numbers since online sports gambling was first legalized in Tennessee back in 2020. Those records show Tennessee's collected $39 million in sports gambling taxes in 2021, $68 million in 2022, and $83.5 million last year. Now, this is possible because Tennessee is considered the largest online-only sports betting market in the entire country.
Many people might not know that. You think of Las Vegas, right? But we're talking about online only. So there are 38 states and Washington, D.C. that allow online sports betting in some form. And so Tennessee has the 10th highest tax rate, and it's a very busy market.
Now, for the record, you do have to have a license from the state to take online wagers in Tennessee. Last week, the state actually fined a sports book called Bovada for operating illegally.
Fox 17 News investigates a mid-state winery taking the Alcoholic Beverage Commission to court over a fine the agency handed them. The family business actually spent $40,000 to challenge this $5,000 ticket. Why they say it's worth it.
I was brought up by people that you don't let anybody push you around, and you don't let an entity push you around.
How this family business won their case and why the judge called the actions by ABC agents a ruse. Monday on Fox 17 News at 9.
Looking ahead to Sunday, when the Full Measure team will examine campaign fundraising now that the presidential election is behind us. The latest numbers from Forbes show that the Harris Victory Fund brought in $1.2 billion in donations, with Trump's National Committee collecting just over $375 million in this race. Statistics show that the candidate who raises the most money typically goes on to win the White House. 2016 was an exception. Hillary Clinton raised more money then, but like Kamala Harris, she lost.
Trump being a huge part of that shift, where we're seeing small donors and grassroots donors becoming much more a part of the equation. That's not to say that mega donors are going anywhere, but it's not necessarily who has more money that wins, it's whoever resonates with the American people.
This week on Full Measure, our Cheryl Atkinson takes a closer look at which industries and personalities funded which candidate in this big race and what those big donors are now hoping to get in return. You can watch Full Measure, the full story here on Sunday morning at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
Well, later on this afternoon, I think we're going to warm up a little bit more from what we hit, we'll say yesterday now, 12:01 at the current time. Earlier yesterday, we had 66 degrees. That was the highest we got. I think later on today now, we should be warming to the mid-70s, 74 degrees for the afternoon high temperature later on. Average high temperature this time of year is 64. There will be a chance for some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms too. Through the morning hours, I think we're all dry, but once we hit the start of the afternoon, I think that rain chance is going to start to bump up some for us. Here's our current drought situation too. I want to show you the drought monitor map. Level 3 out of 4 drought now in our south central counties. That's the second from the worst. And then that shade of orange right there, that's that level 2 out of 4 drought. So we're now dealing with drought. We've gone basically the entire month of October without any rain, with the exception of the last day we had some decent rainfall. That was on Halloween. And now we're finally starting to see a little bit more rain in the forecast for the weekend. Want to take a look down here in the tropics too. This is now Tropical Storm Raphael. Earlier today we were calling it Hurricane Raphael. That was a Category 2. That's now dropped down to tropical storm strength. Maximum winds right now at 70 miles per hour. I really don't think it's going to have much of a direct impact on us. It will increase the amount of moisture. So this activity that's moving through for this weekend is going to have more moisture to work with. We are looking at some decent rainfall totals around here, but the actual track of this tropical storm itself, I think that's going to be just kind of wobbling around in the Gulf of Mexico and then drop a little bit further to the south as we head through the later part of the weekend on into early next week too. So again, in the clear from any direct impacts from Raphael. We're also going to be warmer than normal as we head through the next several days too. Sunday will be in the lower 70s. Today in mid 70s. Lower 70s Sunday. We'll keep it in the lower 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then finally some cooler air arrives for Thursday and Friday. It'll finally start to feel more fall-like, but that's actually going to be a little bit above normal still for this time of year. And then once we head into the earlier part of the week, going to be warming up just a little bit. I'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up here in just a bit.
New media had a big moment this election cycle, while traditional media took a hit. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll explain coming up.
And help for a toddler in need, the special medical request a family is making to save their young son's life. President-elect Trump's win putting a spotlight on new media and its influence in the election.
Fox 17 News' Matt Galka right now taking a look at whether voters are turning to outlets like podcasts and TikTok and other sources for their election night coverage.
I knew exactly where I was hit.
Donald Trump embraced podcasters this election cycle, appearing on the highly popular Joe Rogan podcast, an episode that has more than 47 million views on YouTube so far.
How long have we been talking?
A long time.
Let's go.
Probably like 3 hours.
I got to make a speech,
Right.
but we'll do it again. I want to do it again.
And he embraced the influential figure's endorsement.
I was honored to get Joe Rogan last night. I mean, Joe Rogan's a big deal. He's a very respected person.
Then there was UFC CEO Dana White shouting out a who's who of streamers at Trump's victory speech.
This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family. I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelk Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
New media had a big moment this election season, with some in legacy media admitting they took a hit.
Well, first, I think we have to acknowledge that Donald Trump knows our country better than we do.
There's no love lost between Trump and traditional media. And some experts say his win, while bucking many traditional outlets, could be a wake-up call.
I would say that the media does need to do some introspection in terms of how they predicted this election. And I think that that's going on kind of writ large in terms of, did we read the electorate correctly, particularly the media that gets involved in polling and other kind of election predictions? Are they really paying attention to what's going on in the everyday American life?
If ratings are any indication, the number of people consuming election coverage through traditional television channels was down across the board. There was a 26% drop compared to just 4 years ago. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
We have some showers and a few thunderstorms that are headed our way. I'll let you know when they arrive, and also talk about if we have any cooler weather in the forecast. Is it going to feel more fall-like? Those details coming up.
Live look at heavy snowfall out west, where a winter storm is dumping over a foot of snow.
This is little Archie. He was born without a working pair of kidneys and now needs your help. I'm Liz Bonus. We explain what you could do to make a difference. It is just ahead.
Now here's a look at some of the stories you should be keeping your eye on as NASCAR heads to its championship race in Phoenix. There was a dramatic finish in Martinsville that eventually put Ryan Blaney and William Byron in the championship four, along with Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick. There were also a bunch of penalties. So, is this chaos just now a thing in NASCAR?
Let's face it, this goes on all the time. If you have to ask why, it's because there are so many alliances in racing now. Back years ago, back in the day, quote, back in the day, there really wasn't. Everybody was kind of out for themselves.
And 4 drivers, 1 race. The top finisher will be your 2024 Cup Series champion.
Seems like whether it's something new or big moments, our team just seems to shine. And like I said, if I knew what it was, I'd do it every weekend.
I don't personally think about it too much instead of, besides when media and y'all bring it into my ear, like, oh, it could be the first back-to-back champion. I don't think about that. I just try to go win another one.
It got me started in this in the first place is being able to get to this point and have an opportunity to do this.
I feel like there's a lot to learn from last year, like just being in this situation, knowing what the pressure's like, knowing what the weekend is like in terms of the schedule. And I just feel like we learned a lot from that. And
you can hear more from all 4 championship drivers and owners in this week's Backstretch podcast. You can find that on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. For the Backstretch, I'm Heather Williams.
In health news, a family tonight is asking for your help to save their young son Archie's life.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus shows us how you can help this toddler find a new kidney.
Hey there, everybody. Little Archie was born with no working kidneys. So now Archie's Army trying to get the word out that he is in need of a living kidney donor.
After further testing, they determined that his right kidney didn't exist and his left kidney had cysts all over it, so it wasn't functioning.
On day 3 of little Archie's life, they started dialysis. This is little Archie now. He's still on that process. This machine filters his blood every night.
Where's baby Sissy? Yeah.
Now, at 18 months, he's big enough for a kidney.
It's not as hard to ask for a kidney for our son as it might be for ourselves.
Dr. Charles Varnell told me he needs an adult donor. He's the medical director of Ohio Cincinnati Children's Kidney Transplant Program. It has to do, he says, with adults having larger blood vessels to connect more easily with a child during surgery.
It's a pretty small surgery, so having the larger blood vessels tends to be technically easier from a surgical standpoint.
For Archie, seen here with his grandpa, best buddy Poppy, an adult kidney is larger than his little body needs.
But luckily there's plenty of space once you've gotten to about 20 pounds, or like I said, around 18 months of age, for it to fit.
Now, all his family needs is a match. So they're reaching out to Archie's Army.
Every single day, he has proven to us that it's all for a reason.
If you're watching this, his family hopes you'll reach out and consider being tested to see if you're a match for Archie.
We say it often, we feel blessed to be his parents. Like, we feel honored. I mean,
yeah.
Every Army, they say, always needs new recruits.
If you would like more information, just search Archie's Army online. Initial testing only involves a cheek swab to see if you'd be a potential match. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, take a look at this. This is a live image from Manitou Springs, Colorado, at the base of Pikes Peak, which is now covered with snow, just like the train station is here. They've got a 3-day severe weather event going on right now out there. Some places have already got a foot of snow on the ground. This is a look at the train station that they use to take visitors up to the top of the mountain. It's specially designed to take people up the steep incline. Winter storm warnings expected to remain in effect in Colorado through the weekend. Here in our area, not much chance to snow.
I've been out there. That's a 14er, as they call it.
It looked pretty cool.
14,000 feet in elevation, so they are just getting dumped with snow.
They are absolutely getting dumped with snow. I'm looking at some of the snowfall totals, 1 to 2 feet. Some of these spots in New Mexico and Colorado. I've seen some awesome video. You know, I used to live out in New Mexico for a while, so some of my friends have been posting all the snow, and it just looks beautiful.
That's why we both moved back from the West Coast.
That's exactly right. Moving
Folks
back
are
down
in
to
here.
the south.
I can't imagine 2 feet of snow.
Yeah,
I know. It's they also have blizzard warnings in New Mexico too. Crazy, just a whole bunch of snow out there.
And that system looks like it's just hovering, like it's not moving.
It's just hovering right on the backside of that low pressure. You can see that blue just kind of blanketing parts of Colorado, and it's just going to kind of hang right there too. That is going to start to shift off to the east though as we head through the next several hours, and eventually this rain right here that you're seeing now moving through parts of Oklahoma and Texas on into Arkansas, that's going to finally begin to reach us. So we will get a rain chance out of this. We just have to wait a little bit longer for it. I think it should be arriving probably late tomorrow morning or late now that we're in Saturday, late this morning, on into early parts of the afternoon too. But this is 3 a.m. Most of this still back west of the Mississippi River. Fast forward to about noon, and we're going to start to see some of these showers, a few thunderstorms possible, moving into more of our western and southern areas. The good news, I think this is just going to be beneficial rainfall. It does not look like we're going to have to deal with any sort of severe weather threat either Saturday or Sunday, so that's good. Saturday afternoon, more of these showers begin to build in across Middle Tennessee up into southern Kentucky too, and then that'll just continue through the overnight hours. Sunday morning, this model has now kind of backed off on that rain chance, at least for the first part of the day, keeping it around the Tennessee River. We could still get a few scattered showers out ahead of that, but I think that main line on Sunday will start to move through during the afternoon hours, pushing in closer to Interstate 65 by the mid to late part of the afternoon, and then through the evening hours, it'll keep on sliding east and then clear on out of here by early Monday morning. So Veterans Day looking pretty good, and then Tuesday looking really good too. I think we're going to see dry conditions on Tuesday, a slight chance for showers will return though for Wednesday, and then we're drier beyond that and a little bit cooler too. As far as rainfall amounts go, 2 to 3 inches across portions of Middle Tennessee, closer to an inch right here along the plateau. So this could be some beneficial rainfall, and we're going to need it too because that drought situation has not improved. Remember, we went nearly all of October without a single drop of rain right here in Nashville. Lower 70s for Sunday through Tuesday, and then Wednesday we get about a 30% chance for some scattered showers, maybe a couple of storms. Thursday, Friday, some cooler air finally begins to move in, high temperatures down to the mid-60s.
A shocking message. The malicious and racial text messages sent to unsuspecting black people in America.
And filling out his cabinet, will President-elect Donald Trump tap members of Tennessee's congressional delegation?
New tonight, racist text messages referencing slavery sent to unsuspecting black men, women, and students across the country, including right here in Nashville. Some recipients, were as young as middle school age. Fisk University says some of its students received the messages too and calls them deeply unsettling. Metro schools say several of their students received similar messages. The FBI is investigating the racial texts.
Looking ahead to Sunday morning in Nashville in Focus now. This week, our panel is talking about the results of the election and whether any members of Tennessee's congressional delegation will be tapped to serve in the Trump administration. Possibles include 7th District Congressman Mark Green, who won re-election the other night. He's thought to be a possible candidate for Secretary of Homeland Security. There's also talk about this man. U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty is either Secretary of State or Treasury Secretary.
But when you talk about United States Senator Bill Hagerty, wow, I believe that Politico called him the conscience now of that he's touted as the conscience of the next Trump administration. He is a solid force, very, very trusted.
Other topics Sunday include Governor Lee's new school voucher bill. Will lawmakers support it? And with the transit referendum now behind him, will Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell have to ask next for a property tax increase? That's Nashville in Focus, Sunday morning at 6:30 here on Fox 17.
Well, they often say 2 is better than 1. Now IHOP and Applebee's are putting that to the test in a unique way.
And this is a live look from the city that never sleeps. You can see Radio City Music Hall and the big lights right there, where the famous Rockettes kicked off their Christmas spectacular tonight. If you're planning a trip to Manhattan, the show runs through January the 5th. In consumer news, 2 major American chain restaurants will soon be under one roof.
All right, interesting combo here. IHOP and Applebee's coming together to open a joint restaurant in the U.S. Dine Brands, which owns both chains, say that the joint restaurant will open in Texas first next year.
Now, Dine Brands currently is already operating joint IHOP and Applebee's restaurants in Mexico, Canada, and Saudi Arabia. You know, there's a few other places like that where it's like half this and half something else.
But wasn't it Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and what was the other one? They were always coupled together?
Is KFC on that list?
Yeah, I think so.
And those are owned by Yum Brands, you know,
Okay,
kind of
great.
same kind of
So,
deal.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow when we have a college football triple header for you. It starts at 11 a.m. when Purdue takes on Ohio State. Then at 3 o'clock, the Colorado Buffaloes, led by NFL Hall of Famer safety Deion Sanders, play Texas Tech. And then don't miss Nevada taking on Boise State. Rounding out the night, that game starts at 7 p.m.
Then on Sunday, of course, it's all about the NFL. We've got one game this week. Fortunately for us, it is the Titans game. They are in Los Angeles to play the Chargers. That game will start at 3 p.m. And generally speaking, the weather's always nice out there for the games.
I know they're going to get some drier weather out there, and I think we might have some showers and thunderstorms that move through the weekend. The good news, though, no severe weather in the forecast Saturday or Sunday.
All right, let's go out and have ourselves a weekend. We'll see you right back here on Monday.